Today, I'm going to be talking about two big things that happened in the Smash Bros. Community this past week. This is the free Melee movement that came out of Nintendo shutting down the Big House tournament, and the recent TwitLonger that came out and talked about the numerous ways that Nintendo has hurt and prevented the Smash Bros. Esports community from flourishing. Now, many people whose first game was Ultimate, probably a lot of my viewers, don't know much about Melee and its community. The Melee scene has so much history, and it's hard to even summarize in just a few statements. There are so many videos out there like the Smash Bros. Documentary that I really recommend you watch if you aren't too familiar on Melee. It's nearly impossible to watch these videos and not fall in love with the game itself and just the relentlessness of the community. Last week, Nintendo sent a cease and desist to the Smash Bros. Tournament, the Big House, which was an online tournament that was going to be happening very soon. Now, normally it's an in-person tournament, but because of the whole current situation, they switched to online. And while the Big House isn't like the largest tournament in Smash Bros., it doesn't have the biggest prize pool, it arguably has the most history of any Smash Bros. Tournament out there and is probably the best example of a grassroots tournament that has continually flourished just because of the community and all of the support behind it. It was also the first major Smash tournament I went to back in 2016. And really, it almost feels symbolic that this is the tournament that got the big shutdown. Now, what was their reasoning for shutting it down? They said that it was the planned use of Slippy for running the Melee portion of the tournament, which was a project that works with a Dolphin emulator to allow online Melee and even implements rollback netcode. Now, the rollback netcode allows users to play halfway across the world with nearly no input lag, and really it's just the closest experience you can get to offline play. Now, it's not a perfect replacement for in-real-life tournaments, but Fizzy and his team worked so hard to get this working, it's probably the greatest thing to come out of Smash Bros. As a whole. So is Nintendo in the legal right to shut this tournament down? Technically yes, but probably not for the reason you think. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I might be slightly off in some stuff, but from what I know, this is how it works. You see, emulators are completely legal. These are things that allow games to be played like on a computer or something like that. So there's nothing really that would make Slippy by itself illegal. And you might think that the Melee ISOs, which are basically the copies of the game that can be ran through the emulator, are illegal, but by themselves, they aren't. So if you own a copy of Super Smash Bros. Melee, you are legally allowed to rip that to your computer and play it on an emulator. Now, what's illegal is the hosting of these ROMs on the internet, which is why you've seen many of those sites get shut down over the years. So the reason that Nintendo's legally in the right is because this is their intellectual property, and fair use doesn't really cover streaming tournaments and stuff like that. In fact, neither is my YouTube channel and my Twitch channel where I stream and upload video games. Technically, Nintendo has a right to be able to shut these down. So the reason they don't shut down things like my YouTube channel or Let's Plays or stuff like that is because, number one, they'd get some incredibly bad press. There's sort of a precedent to allow your game to be displayed on the internet. And number two, they would lose a lot of money because the game would be not popular at all if we couldn't watch people play the game, if we had to isolate ourselves and only play at our own home and never see anyone else playing the game. Like, this adds to the popularity of the game. So financially, what do they gain by shutting down Melee? Technically nothing right now. They're not profiting off the game anymore. They're not selling this game. They're not making Wiis or GameCubes, which is the only way to play the game on a console. So they don't really gain anything by shutting this down. My guess is that they don't want this to be the norm in the future, where we make our own better versions of the game. For example, we saw that with Project M. They might fear that we do something similar with Ultimate, where we stop using their Nintendo Switch Online $5 a month system and have our own better thing. I don't quite know their logic behind this. They might be thinking if they don't shut this down, there's no legal precedent to shut down something similar in the future with a different game since it's their intellectual property. I don't know everything behind it, but it's sort of just my thought process. What bothers me is that with everything going on in the world, we found a way to be able to play a game that we love in a safe and responsible manner, and Nintendo won't even just meet us in the middle over something like this. They're not working or compromising in any sort of way. Now, I can't say for certain I know what's going on behind the scenes with these decisions, but for so long I've given Nintendo the benefit of the doubt on these sort of things, and it's really just hard to keep doing that. At the end of the day, they're simply a company, and we have to treat them like that rather than one of our friends. Now, this sort of leads me to the TwitLonger. Now, I encourage you to read the entire thing, but I'm going to go over what it talks about. Basically, it goes over numerous examples of Nintendo going out of their way to stop Smash Bros. Games from growing as an esport. And this isn't new, it's been going on for over 10 years. And this isn't because of what happened back in July, it's been going on much longer than that. And you might think that it's esports as a whole, but for ARMS and Splatoon, they've encouraged esports for those type of games, and they've helped them financially and everything, but for Smash Bros, they have not. There have been companies like Major League Gaming, HTC, Red Bull, Twitch, and so many others that tried to create these big Smash Bros circuits just like so many other games have. They would have had huge prize pools, media and TV coverage, all the things you need to help esports games grow. But Nintendo has time and time again prevented these things from happening. For example, they tried to charge MLG a $50,000 fee to use Melee in any events that they were going to do. And this was in 2015. The game was not new. They were not profiting off of Melee in any way. They just didn't want it to happen. Nintendo has worked so hard to keep stringing us along, giving us hope, only to end up screwing us over time and time again. Now, I don't have any insider info, so I can't 100% verify all of the stuff in the TwitLonger, but as someone who has been in the scene for a long time, kind of heard some of the rumors and comments going around, this all pretty much lines up. So I can vouch for a decent amount of it and at least give it some credibility, and a lot of top players have already said this is completely true. At this point, you really just can't give Nintendo the benefit of the doubt on this sort of stuff, and there's really no reason not to believe any of this. And I knew a lot of this information was happening, but seeing this all laid out for me just all at once was pretty eye-opening. It made me just realize how far back this goes and brought up stuff that I just totally forgot had happened, and altogether just makes it look so bad for Nintendo. They've been behind the scenes just trying to shut stuff down, but at the same time trying just enough to not get bad press about it. But what I don't understand is, with all of this going on, why are they even bothering with making Smash Ultimate a competitive game? If they don't care about the esports side, why did they spend so much time and resources into balancing this game, providing patches to help improve the competitive side of the game? I guess they're fine with keeping us happy about that, but the second something stands in their way of them making a tiny bit more money, even if long-term it'll probably help them, they're going to shut it down immediately. So what's the solution here? I don't know. I've seen people suggest we distance ourselves from Nintendo the best we can, but I don't think that'll help at all. To some extent, we need Nintendo to thrive as an esport. For the community to grow and be respected, we need to partner with large events and companies. It's sort of like a parent-child relationship where we're at the complete mercy of Nintendo until they change their view about this as a whole. I mean, at the end of the day, they're a company, so they're financially driven, and the only way we can really change their mind if it's clear to them that they're going to lose money from making these decisions. Now, are we big enough of a community to make a financial dent in Nintendo? Probably not. I don't know what we should do, but I do know that trying to work with them and stay on their good side clearly has not been working the last 10 years and is not the answer. I've never really made a video like this, but I felt like I should talk about it since I have a platform. To keep uploading normally and just act like nothing was going on, I felt like I was siding with Nintendo and just pretending like everything is fine when it's really not. I know there's bigger problems in the world right now, and focusing on this little thing kind of seems a little silly, but I felt like I needed to do this. Try and spread the word around this. I really don't want to stay quiet through all this. I really think we need to make our voice heard. I know there's so much more to this story, but I tried to condense it all to at least a watchable amount. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.